Hello, lovely people. Welcome to today's menu. It's a simple one, corned beef stew with basmati rice. When I say basmati, I mean this right here, basmati, tilde basmati. None compares. All right? So I've got a pot of boiling water. I'll taste for salt. I need to add more salt to it. Yes, a generous amount of salt in the water. And I've got some washed basmati rice to go in, 2 cups. And the thing with basmati is that it has to be cooked a certain way to be enjoyed. So that's a lot of water. What I'm going to do is to just stir it up so that it doesn't catch at the bottom because we're not there yet. And then let it cook for 7 minutes. And it will be halfway done. And then we carry on with the rest. Now, whilst the basmati cooks away, I've got some plum tomatoes, and I've got 5 of them. I'm just going to blanch it in this boiling water for about 3 minutes to loosen the skins, because all I'm going to need is the flesh of the tomatoes. So the skins and the inside parts are going to be reserved for soups and things like that. As mentioned earlier, it's corned beef stew and cabbage. When you think of corned beef stew, you think cloves. So on this frying pan here, I'm going to dry or temper some herbs and spices. So the first thing to go in are cloves for the corned beef and caraway seeds. It looks like cumin or fennel, but the taste is so different. This and cabbage go so well together, so I'm just gonna put it in there. And then we've got maize. Maize goes very well with any type of rice. And maize is just the cover of nutmeg, and it works as good. This is going to be on the fire, till the flavors are released. And that takes about a minute or 2. And then it's going to go in the dry blender to blend away. I can actually smell it. It's popping away and the smell is great. So I'll put it in a dry blender. Obviously, leave it aside to cool. And put it in a dry blender to blend away. We're going to flavor the stew with it. So the tomatoes are as I want it to be. A closer look will reveal it's peeling off already. So I've got a bowl with ice cubes and water. I'm going to dunk every tomato in to stop the cooking process and then start peeling away. And to the same water, I'm going to blanch the cabbage. This is the cabbage from my coleslaw video. So I'm going to just put them in here for, I'd say, about 2 minutes, just to blanch it, and then discard the water, and the residual heat we'll just cook it up to allow the cabbage to absorb all the flavors later on. A quick check on the rice. reveals it's halfway done. The process of treating basmati this way is to open up the grains and elongate them. So the cooked basmati is going to be drained of all its water, and then I'll just drain it off. For demonstrative purposes, I'll just show you. I've got a colander, and I'll just drain it off, and then I'm going to get some cold water, and then add some cold water to it. And the cold water sort of stops the cooking process, and then we will start layering the basmati rice. The next process is to layer and steam it. Stay tuned. It's time to layer the basmati ready for steaming. Over here, this is a gorgeous liquid. This is clarified butter, homemade of course. It is achieved, it's called ghee by Indians. It is achieved by boiling down butter till the milk solids caramelizes, and you are left with a very clear liquid. Some people go on ahead and sort of skim off the milk solids, but I like them in my dishes. So first to go in the end of the pot, this is a very rich dish that can be enjoyed once in a while because of the amount of, oil that goes in. So I've layered the cooking pot with some ghee. I'm going to add the rice, spread it. I'm going to be doing just 2 layers. And then next to go on, some Cura water, just a sprinkle, just a little sprinkle of Cura water, followed by chopped mint. This is mint from my garden. Some chopped coriander to go on top. You can use any herbs and spices to your liking to just steam basmati, or just steam it, without any of these. But I do think that mint and coriander goes great, with basmati. So the rest is going to go on top. Then give it a spread, an even spread. More Cura water, some ghee or clarified butter with the cooked milk solids. It's taking on a caramel type of texture, and it's so wonderful. And last but not the least, I'll just sprinkle some water, salted water on top. Not a lot. I don't like basmati that is so mushy, It's not to my liking. And then next go in, I've got this. This is milk that was microwaved, and then some strands of saffron put in, and that goes on top of the rice just to give it color and some elegance. Saffron doesn't come cheap, but once in a while, man is allowed to splurge. So that goes on top, and that's going to be covered and left on the fire on high heat for 5 minutes to allow a more ase, or what they call in Iran tadeg. That is the crispy part of the rice at the bottom, called the kazo in Ghana, or emoase. That's the best part, isn't it? So it's going to be left for 5 minutes to achieve that on a very high heat, and then turn it to the lowest heat and then steam for, I would say, another 10 minutes. And the basmati is done. So let's get on with our stew prep. Got some onions cooking away for a while. Next to go in is garlic, chopped garlic. And then the fleshy part of the tomato, just this part. I went ahead and separated them. So that's to go in. And now for the skins and the inside parts of the tomato and the skins, I've just labeled them tomato for soups. So I'm going to blend them and then keep it away for when I need it for soup. So just a quick stir. And the next to go in would be, so the next thing I did put in our bouillon cubes. I'm going to give it a stir and then sort of make room to put something else in. I'm just, creating a space for this right here. 6 beaten eggs salted with some spring onion. That is going to go in the well I've created, you see, and I'll leave that for about 3 minutes. Give it a stir and then put the next ingredient in. It's time to stir up the eggs into the stew. I mean, it's not looking bad, but it's still a bit runny, so I'd leave it for maybe another minute or two for the eggs to set. So the eggs are set. Next to go in are the cabbage, the chopped cabbage. And do you remember these? These are the courgettes and patty pans, the leftovers from my wache video. In my kitchen, I do practice, frugality. So I kind of plan menus around the ingredients that I've got to make sure, to cut down waste. Just an economical way of doing things. So I'm going to just stir it. The stew is almost done. And then show the next item to go in. Stay tuned. So the cabbage, the stew is clearly cabbage stew, with my own additions. So I don't want cabbage stew that is too tomatoey, you see. So it looks boring, but trust me, it tastes good already. So next to go in are my ground mace, clove, and caraway seed mix, followed by chopped Scotch bonnet pepper. And then most people complain when they're dealing with corned beef that, it doesn't taste as good as it used to. That's because you're probably putting it in too early. So by the time the dish is done, the distinctive flavor is gone. Not in my kitchen. So this is 130 grams of chopped corned beef. That's to go in. I'll give everything a quick stir, like so, because it's time for the flavors to get to know each other. And if you already don't know, You should know by now that your girl will leave this on for 5 minutes on low heat, just for the flavors to sort of, get to know each other. And to crown it all, how about a generous, I told you this is a very rich dish. How about a generous sprinkling of ghee just to complement the rice? And so this is the end of our video. Thanks for your time. Now, you can find me on TikTok. That is Ajapon Boatema. That's where all the eating segments are going to go. And there would be pictures on Instagram as well. So, thank you for your time. See you on TikTok. Watch me devour this deliciousness. Bye-bye.